Alright guys, if y'all are new to the channel, real quick, let me tell y'all what we do. Let me tell y'all what we talk about, and that is Dynasty Fantasy Football. This is strictly a Dynasty Fantasy Football channel. Obviously, the player you clicked on, whatever team he went to, is definitely going to be discussed and how it affects that NFL team and the supporting cast around it. But our main focus is on Dynasty Fantasy Football. If you don't know what that is, just fantasy football year round. You draft one team, you always have that team throughout the entire offseason. You're making trades, you're going through, you're actually drafting rookies like your real NFL team, and it's a lot of fun. If you have never played in a Dynasty League before and are interested in joining one, we have new leagues starting every single week. Go down the description of the video, join the Discord, and that's where you're going to get all the info for that. And if you are already playing Dynasty Fantasy Football, you are at the perfect place. Make sure you go down there and subscribe. This is going to be the channel for you, but let's get into the video.
That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
Alright guys, and y'all know if y'all been watching for the channel, I've been pushing this very hard lately just because I get y'all 2 videos a day, but it's more important now than ever. I need y'all to make sure you go down and like this video. I'm going to be putting out 4 to 5 videos a day, so I promise you, I sent that screenshot earlier with what happens in the YouTube algorithm. If I upload more than 1 video a day and y'all don't leave a like, pretty much it just kills the channel. So it's now more important than ever. Make sure you go down right now and leave a like on this video. Alright guys, this video is going to hurt to make. Y'all know CeeDee Lamb was my wide receiver 1 pre-draft, yet here we are, went off the board as wide receiver 3 in the NFL draft, which isn't that big of a deal. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily mind it considering the ranges all these players went, all kind of have the same draft capital. Can't blame a team for taking Ruggs over Jeudy or Lamb. I know it's crazy to say, oh, but CeeDee Lamb and Jerry Jeudy are going to be so much more productive at the NFL level than Henry Ruggs. Why would you ever take Ruggs over them? It's because taking Ruggs isn't necessarily going to be able to help your offense by getting Henry Ruggs 180 targets a season, but it's going to be able to help your offense by getting him 100 targets a season and by making everyone else in your offense a little more efficient. But CeeDee Lamb, I thought he was going to be able to be a target hog at the NFL level. Thought he was going to be able to be special with what he could do after the catch. Here he lands in Dallas with Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, Blake Jarwin, Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard. So this is interesting. Let me get into what I think about CeeDee Lamb, why I had him as my wide receiver 1. First off, for Dynasty, he just turned 21 years old. So Scott keeps on hammering this home on his podcast. And it's so important that these wide receivers come in at a young age, not necessarily because it increases their chances of hitting, which it does, but it's more important because of what it does for their dynasty value. If CeeDee Lamb comes in, same thing I said about Jerry Jeudy, and has a disappointing rookie season, people are going to point to Amari Cooper, they're going to point to Michael Gallup, they're going to point to the fact that CeeDee Lamb was only 21 years old, and they're going to say, hey, of course he didn't produce. Why are we going to lower him down our dynasty rankings that much? He's going to stay sticky, whereas if he comes out and he puts up a good season, he is going to skyrocket in the rankings due to having the target competition of Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and being extremely young. That age-adjusted production is going to be there. It's going to get people really excited. CeeDee Lamb is 6'2", 198 pounds, so he's a little slight. I know some people use this against him, but like I said, the same thing with Jerry Jeudy. In today's NFL, I'm not too worried about these wide receivers being a little smaller just because they are protected. I'm not worried about them going across the middle and getting completely destroyed. CeeDee Lamb's a guy that's going to be able to catch the ball. They said during the draft that CeeDee Lamb actually forced more missed tackles than anyone else in, I don't want to say college football. I don't remember exactly what they said. But if you don't know, I've said this multiple times before. I've seen CeeDee Lamb play live at the Cotton Bowl in 2019. I'm telling you right now, I've never seen a player that special live in action with what he can do with the ball in his hands. He can make defenders miss like nothing I've ever seen before, and really excited. I think this is going to translate well to the NFL level because he doesn't necessarily do it with speed. He does it with technique. He does it with his moves. And this is next thing, talking about his speed. He is not a super athletic wide receiver, but we don't need him to be super athletic. He wins with his routes and he wins with what he can do after the catch. So he's just athletic enough to be a successful NFL wide receiver. I've said this I don't know how many times on this channel. I prefer these wide receivers to have production, not athleticism. Obviously, if they have both, that's great, but I'll choose production in college over athleticism every single time. And if we look at CeeDee Lamb, that's exactly what he has. He has fantastic production. And let's jump right into what exactly he did in his college career. So coming into Oklahoma, first off, I will say I go to Texas. I'm a Texas fan, and I will confidently say that Lincoln Riley is the best college football coach there is right now. Yeah, I think he's better than Nick Saban. What he can do with pretty much anyone who comes into that program is extremely special. How he convinces college kids to go to Oklahoma. Have you ever been to Oklahoma? I don't know how, but looking at this production, you have to keep in context that it was in the Oklahoma Sooners offense. The Oklahoma Sooners offense is pretty much one of the best offenses in the college football every single year for a great reason. But in 2017, his true freshman season, he had 46 receptions, 807 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Now, this is massive. This is in an offense that had a good amount of weapons, had Mark Andrews, had Hollywood Brown, and same thing in 2018. With those same weapons here, he goes in and is a sophomore, bumps his receptions up to 65 receptions and almost 1,200 receiving yards and 11 touchdowns. So we see the massive jump in receiving yards. We see him be more efficient per reception. And this just continues in 2019. In 2019, he had about the same amount of receptions, a little over 60, but he continues to increase that yards per reception in showing that he can make defenders miss. He can catch a ball anywhere on the football field. He can take a crossing route 80 yards to the house just because he's fast enough to outrun those defenders. And at the same time, he's technical enough to make them miss in the open field. He actually averaged 21.4 yards per reception and had 14 total touchdowns. Now, all of this in his Dynasty profile really highlight the special ability that CeeDee Lamb has. And I know we don't want to make the same mistake we did last year where I had A.J. Brown as my wide receiver 1 pre-draft, and after the NFL draft, I ended up lowering him down my Dynasty rankings behind N'Keal Harry. But at the same time, it's hard to ignore the fact that CeeDee Lamb went to an offense that has Amari Cooper. And in my opinion, Amari Cooper is going to be the wide receiver 1 in Dallas. I don't care what anybody says. Amari Cooper is a top talent at the NFL level. I know some people love to say, oh, but he's inconsistent, yada, yada, yada. I don't care that he's inconsistent. He's still going to be the wide receiver 1 on the Dallas Cowboys offense. If anyone wants to make a bet on that, please feel free to slide in my DMs on Discord. I lost $50 earlier on a bet to Paul, so no big deal. But at the same time, CeeDee Lamb is going to be the wide receiver 2. I'm confident in saying that he's going to beat out Michael Gallup extremely early. This Dallas Cowboys offense with this personnel is going to look to run a lot of 3 wide receiver sets. But at the same time, I don't know how important it's going to be that they're running 3 wide receiver sets when CeeDee Lamb is going to be the guy commanding the targets over Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup, I've said multiple times, I thought he was a very good number 2 NFL wide receiver. He came into the league a little bit older as a prospect, and he was known to be a tactician. He was known to be one of the most pro-ready wide receivers coming in. So after his early on success and people wanted to move him up Dynasty rankings, I told people to slow down a little bit just because, hey, we knew that he was going to be a productive wide receiver early on because we knew he was pro ready. The question with Michael Gallup is, what is his true ceiling? And here we are a couple years later. Yes, he was productive early on, but the Cowboys aren't buying into it. They're going out there taking best player available in the draft. Doesn't matter what position it is. I know some people are speculating that this means Michael Gallup is going to be traded. I don't believe this to be the case because I believe that the Dallas Cowboys aren't going to be able to get enough for Michael Gallup to make sense of moving him when they can just go full on and try to be the league's most productive offense in 2020. I know some people are going to laugh at that, but if you look at efficiency wise, they were actually probably the most efficient offense in the league in 2019. They had the highest yards per play run in the entire league. I know that's hard to believe, but when they got down to the red zone, they weren't able to get it done. They had to kick a lot of field goals. They had some turnovers, which is why the overall points output was not there. So this team was already looking to be an offensive juggernaut, and now they had, in my opinion, the best wide receiver in the NFL draft. All this means is Dak Prescott is skyrocketing up Dynasty rankings. Dak Prescott is right up there with the Kyler Murray, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson tier. my opinion. You may have to put Dak Prescott. Actually, now that I think about it, Dak Prescott is ahead of Kyler Murray. I'm putting that out there right now. Y'all know how much I love Kyler Murray. I've been drafting Kyler Murray all offseason. But after this addition of CeeDee Lamb, I don't understand how you can have Kyler Murray ahead of Dak Prescott when Dak Prescott has similar rushing production, and at the same time, he has the proven track record at the NFL level: Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and Michael Gallup. So this Cowboys offense is looking to be a top offense in the league in 2020. Super excited to see what they are able to do. And yeah, that's all I got for you now. CeeDee Lamb, it's going to be hard to decide where to take him in rookie drafts. He's going to be right there neck and neck with Jerry Jeudy. It's going to be interesting to see how the Dynasty landscape shakes that out and values these two wide receivers. I just saw that Jalen Reagor went to the Philadelphia Eagles at pick 21, 20, I don't know. But now I know there are going to be some people saying Jalen Reagor, wide receiver 1 in this draft class. I don't know. I'm going to have to think about it. But we'll get into it in the next video. Have a great day, guys.